Hi there, welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. It's an auspicious day today. It is our first game in 8th edition. Say yay, Mark!
Yay, Mark!
Yay! So I have Mark here with me. We're using the points value, so we're playing a 2,000 point game. What mission are you playing? We're playing... Retrieval mission.
Get me out with that memory.
Which is similar to an old one. There are 4 objectives on the table, so we've got one there, one there, one there, and one hiding down here behind our handy rules here, which we have printed out from the internet, like naughty people. So we've got 4 objectives. We score 3 points at the end of the game for those, and I believe it still uses the same secondaries, doesn't it? First Blood, Line Breaker, so on and so forth. So we're doing it exactly as the rulebook says. So Mark got to deploy the first objective. So that meant I got to choose the setup, and I got to choose which setup zone I wanted. So I have chosen, because it's different, to do the table quarter. So Mark is setting up in that square over there, and at least 9 inches away from R2, which is our placeholder for the centre of the table. I'm setting up over here, and you alternate deployment in the new rules. So Mark will deploy a unit, then I will deploy a unit. The person that finishes deploying their units first gets choice of first turn. You can still seal the initiative on a 6. So that's what we're going to see how it goes. We're going to do the alternating deployment, which sounds quite fun. And then Mark will likely lose first turn when I seize the initiative on him. Okay, so let's do armies.
Right then, 2,000 points of Mech. I'm just kind of do a remodeled version of my old war convocation, a little bit different. So,
You're paying for your upgrades, right, Mark?
Every single point of it. Bellows Call is going to be my Warlord today, and for the Warlord trait I've taken is the 6+ to ignore a wound, and he's got an Archmage's buddy now, because I've got to have 2 HQs for a battalion detachment. It's going to be those 3 command points. For my troops, I've got 3 sets of troops. I've got some of the infiltrators. Oh, sorry, not infiltrators. They are the 2 standard ones, so the ones with the blasters and the ones with the longer range galvanic rifles. For special weapons, I've gone for 2 plasma coal vines, and I've gone for 2 of the galvanic arcs. My other troop is going to be some destroyers with plasma. Just tried it out today. Then to round off the list, I've got a Sidonian Dragoon because he looks really interesting and he's still got a good charge range, and he's also got the Taser Goad. I've got 3 robots because I think they look really, really good in the new rules, and I've got a Cyber Data Smith to back them up. And then I've got a unit each of Infiltrators and Rust Stalkers with Cord Callings and Taser Goads.
Okay, so it may come as a shock to some folks, but I'm fielding my Blood Angels today as Blood Angels. I know that's a bit weird, but I thought I'd try it out. So both Mark and I know that with the new rules you can just make a complete Imperial soup list, but we've both tried to keep within the faction that we're actually playing, just for a bit of fluff and a bit of interest. I mean, no doubt we'll both branch out into the Imperial soup with Assassins and Sisters of Silence and Celestine and such, but first time out it's nice to play a bit of a pure list. So what have I got? So HQ wise, I've gone for 3. I've got Mephiston, the Lord of Death. That model hasn't seen any use in quite some time. He's really good in the new rules. He's got a strength 10 sword. He gets to leap around killing stuff with his psychic powers. I have a Sanguinary Priest. He buffs the strength of all Blood Angels units nearby, and he can bring models back from the dead. And I have Lamartes. Apologise for the unpainted nature of him. I'm going to be painting him up now because he's really good in the new rules. He allows Death Company nearby to re-roll hits and also re-roll charge distance, which is really powerful. So to go with him, we have the Death Company. They've got a Power Fist and 2 Power Axes. Troops-wise, our 3 troops are a tactical squad. With the Blood Angels, you can take Heavy Flamers now, or as you could before, but you actually take them because you take Blood Angels tacticals. So I have a Flamer, a Heavy Flamer, and a Combi Flamer in that unit. Combi Flamers can now fire more than once. In here, I have a Combi Melter and a Melter in a 5 tactical squad unit. I then have 10 Assault Marines. Unfortunately, Blood Angels Assault Marines can no longer take melter guns, something I'll hope they'll rectify at some point, so I've gone for a Flamer squad. We have 2 Flamers in there, and if I just move this guy out of the way, you see my nice pistol whipping Sarge there with 2 flame pistols. So lots of flame there. They're a bit more heavy firepower. We have 2 Predators at the back there. One has got quad las cannon, one has 2 las cannons, and a Predator autocannon turret, which is now much better than a normal autocannon. We also have a Razorback with an assault cannon, which is it's a twin-linked assault cannon in the old rules, but it's now heavy 12 gun, so that's pretty beefy. And then what else have we got? We've got some Terminators. I've gone for shooty Terminators, because again, haven't seen them on the table in a long time. I've got a Cyclone, a Chain Fist, We've got some scouts at the back. Snipers are quite interesting in the new rules because they can target characters, whereas normally you can only shoot characters if they're the closest model. So I've got 5 snipers and a missile launcher to take advantage of the fact you can now split fire with all your units, fire at whatever you fancy. And lastly, we have a Rhino to transport the bigger tactical squad. And that is 2,000 points on the nose if I've done my maths right. Let's see how we get on the game. Okay, you join us after setup, and slight turn of the books, I've actually deployed first. We found out that transports are really useful, so if you don't know, in the missions now, you deploy one at a time. So Mark deployed a unit first, so he deployed something, then I deployed something. Nice and interesting, means you can kind of like counter-deploy what the opponent's doing. You have to deploy stuff into deep strike or into reserve of any kind. So deploying them doesn't reduce your number of units. You still have to deploy that number of units. But the thing that does reduce your number of units is transports. So I've got a Rhino and a Razorback, which inside have 3 units because Mephiston's travelling inside this Razorback with his buddies. So that meant I actually finished deploying before Mark, which means I get choice of first turn. We're playing objectives, so going second you do have the option of kind of like moving on to the objective, and there's no objective secured anymore. It's number of models near the objective. So going second has its advantages, but I think I'm going to take first turn. So we'll go through deployment quickly, and then you can watch Mark seize initiative from me. So down here, oh, this guy should be behind him. So we have Assault Marines with an Apothecary. We have 2 Predators, which were hiding because I thought Mark might be going first, so they'll be moving and firing first turn. We've got a Rhino and a Razorback in the centre with their tactical squads inside. Over there, I've deployed my scouts into some cover to give them some nice juicy save. And then Mark has got... What are these things?
They're the ones with the longer range guns.
Aha! They're the Rangers, I think.
Rangers.
These ones down here are Vanguard. He's got his big long-legged Chicky Walker. The Giant Knight of Doom. Robots. Belisarius Craw hiding behind the back, like all characters. You can only shoot characters at the closest model unless you have snipers. And then he's got a big collection of stuff over there, because guess what? No templates! Okay, Mark, are you going to try and seize the initiative?
Oh, yeah.
Okie dokie, let's see. On a 6, same rules as before. Oh, it's a 1. Oh,
Australian 6.
It's a new game we're living, Mark. It is now a 1 in 6 chance instead of the usual kind of like 2 in 3 that we have to roll before. Okay, we'll come back after turn 1. So we're at end of Blood Angels turn 1. What did I do here? So I spread my 2 Predators out so they had line of sight on the knight. My Rhino and Razorback moved over there. The Rhino popped smoke, making it harder to hit. And the Razorback fired his shots into the robots because they were all that was in range. I did 1 measly wound with my Assault 12 gun. The Assault Marines have moved up to there. Terminators deep struck in over here. Storm Bolters are now monsters. 4 shots each, mowed down Mark's unit there, gaining me first blood. I attempted to charge into this because you no longer have to charge the unit that's closest. Failed my charge though. Then, just let me pick up this thing that's fallen over. Being annoying. Okay, so then what did we do? We fired everything in our army at the knight. The knight is the biggest threat to me because I think in close combat, certain of my units can probably handle various things, but the knight is monster in close combat. The 6 damage from its sword can kill Mephiston in a hit, so had to deal with it. So I fired the 2 Predators at it, managed to get 8 wounds through from all my las cannons and such, which I think was probably around average. I then fired my rocket launchers over here. Mark made both his saves, and then I fired my scout missile launcher, got through. Mark re-rolled his save with his command points. We each have 6 command points, by the way, or 5 now. And then I managed to get 5 damage through to the knight from that, which took it down below half its wounds. Most vehicles, if you take them down below half their wounds, lose effectiveness. So the knight's now lost a point of ballistic skill, he's lost some movement, lost some attacks. So it makes him a lot worse, so a lot more manageable. So the next thing I did, my Death Company deep struck in over here. So you can deep strike anywhere outside of 9 inches, and you can still attempt to charge. So you need to roll a 9 on your charge. In fact, if you're within 1 inch, you make the distance. So I came down here, because Mark had clumped up, and the way combat works with consolidating into combat, if you charge something and you're too close to another unit, they get to come in as well. So if I'd gone for Call at the back there, then unfortunately I feel like the rest of his army would have got into combat with me. So I decided to charge these robots, a bit of a mistake. Mark rolled 17 shots from his plasma cannons as I charged in, which mowed down a load of my squads, and then he had Cognis Flamers as well, which I read the rules on, and they seemed pretty good. 11 hits with his Cognis Flamers, killed 2/3 of the Death Company, and the rest failed their charge even with a reroll. So they're sitting out in the breeze doing nada. So not a good charge phase for me. So it's over to Mark's turn. Let's see how he responds.
Right, end of Admech turn 1. Probably again similar to Curly, not great, but not a bad turn certainly. I think I found out how tough vehicles are this edition.
Yeah.
Fired my knight, fired my robots, fired a few other bits and pieces. He's still alive with 1 whole point left.
Didn't kill a Razorback.
It's ridiculous how tough. So yeah, he's only got 1 whole point left, so he's severely crippled now, but he's still going. Lamartes, I've dealt with a few wounds. He's only got 2 left, and then. He's obviously killed 2 of my guys. I put a wound on another.
Lamartes only has 4 wounds, interestingly.
Okay.
So he's only got 1 left.
So Lamartes is almost dead. Down here, I did 1 wound to the Terminator. They got 2 wounds now. And then charged in my dude. He did enough hits to hopefully kill 1 Terminator with 2 wounds, but Kelly made all his saves. So yeah, end of my... Infiltrators came in and then failed their charge down the tank. But did Plinkov whole point with shooting.
Yeah. End of Blood Angels turn 2. And it is a strange game. It's really different. You kind of like do things that your brain just says, oh, that'll work, and it doesn't. So this turn, you'll notice I have removed the knight. I fired over my Predator las cannons, managed to knock 9 off it with 2 las cannons, which was nice rolling on my behalf. Then I fired this Predator over here after emptying my Scout missile launcher into him. Fired this Predator. I fired his 2 las cannons at it and managed to kill it with one of the las cannons. Then I fired my auto cannon, which turns out the Predator autocannon is boss. It does a flat 3 damage and it's got 2d3 shots. So it took out 2 of the Cataphrone destroyers. So that was really good. Other than that, what did we do? The Terminators beat up Mark's Walker thing in close combat. I charged over here with my Assault Marines and I killed 1 of Mark's thing and he's taken out 5 of mine. So not my best assault ever. Because my Razorback was toasted more or less, I got out here with my Marines and took a couple of pot shots at the robots, but did a couple of wounds to them with various things I fired. Over here, Mephiston charged into this unit, but managed to only kill 1. He's wounded another one, but their multiple wounds was pretty helpful there, and they managed to finish off Lamartes, which wasn't so clever. And it's over to Mark's turn 2.
Right, end of my turn 2. So this was really, really powerful because they can shoot before in my shooting phase of their pistols. And they've obviously got a lot of shots. So that pretty much wiped out the assault squad. So then I was fighting the Apothecary and I've dealt him 2 wounds. He killed 1 more model. Mephiston resolved the combat down here. I managed to do a mortal wound to him, which was quite good. And then he obviously finished up the squad and Q having to burn a command point. I've attempted to set my protocol to double shots, which happens at the start of the next turn. And then the rest of it...
Yeah, happens at the start of the game turn, weirdly.
Game turn, yes.
Or
So you've got first turn, so I've got it now.
So it goes on to it now.
I've managed to kill the tactical squad that got out here, and I managed to kill the Razorback down here. Not got a lot I could do with the tanks down there. And I managed to kill 2 of the Terminators this turn, so I think. So with a combination of shoots from down here. And actually the Plasma Cannon was probably the most important part.
Overcharged it was really good.
So yes, end of my turn 2.
Blood Angels turn 3, and we are ripping through the game. God, this is so much faster. So over here, my priest leapt out of combat and expected the Predator to annihilate the 2 dudes who were left. The Predator cocked up his shooting quite royally and only killed 1. I threw in a crack grenade, managed to hit 1. Mark made his 6-up save, so I managed to avoid that, so that was pretty useful. My scouts did a couple of wounds to a Tech Priest Dominus. My tactical squad moved over, fired all their flamers at the destroyer that was left. Mark took him off the table, then they charged the Tech Priest. Not sure if it was a good idea or not, but I didn't want to be shot. I did him 1 wound in combat, but I've lost 3 of my dudes. Mephiston charged into Belisarius' Call, who rolled 3 dice to 3 shots with his special melter gun, and then wounded me all 3 times with the melter gun after hitting me all 3 times in Overwatch. But then Mark utterly flubbed his wound rolls. He got through with 2 of them, but he only did me 2 wounds on 2d6, even after re-rolling 1 of them with a command point. So it was really unlucky there. Over here, my Terminators charged into these guys. I managed to kill 1 in shooting and then only 1 in combat, and we've kind of like locked up a bit there. They did me 1 wound, but didn't kill a Terminator. And I managed to take out a robot. These robots have 6 wounds each, so my las cannons combined to take 1 out. Other than that, I think that's it for my turn. Let's see what Mark can do. Okay, so it is the end of Admech turn 3, and we've called the game there because Mark needs to go home, but we've had a real good taster of 8th edition. So we'll just quickly do what happened on Mark's turn and why we then decided to call it. So Mark charged down over here, got 1 wound in on the Predator, meaning I'd have to back off on my turn and not fire so I could then shoot it with something else. Over here, the Terminator got killed by the robots. They went for the double shoot protocols. Mark swapped at the end of his last turn. God, they put out an ungodly amount of firepower, didn't they?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Absurd amount of firepower. They murdered the 2 Terminators, no problem. Over there, the Tech Priest and the Tactical Squad just slapped each other. But here it was Mephiston versus Call. I used 2 command points to interrupt Mark. So Mark charged over here, so he got to have the first combat. After the opponent has resolved a charging combat, you can spend 2 command points to re-roll, to interrupt and take one of your goes. So in the normal course of events, Mark would go over there, then he would choose one of his units, which would have been Call, to attack Mephiston. He'd have no doubt killed him because I had 1 wound left. So I interrupted Mark and managed to slap him 4 times. I used a re-roll from my command point. You can use command points once per phase per different use. So I used 2 of them to interrupt the turn and then 1 of them to re-roll. So different uses you're allowed to use them. And I managed to get all hits, all wounds and damage through to him and just killed him. Mark contemplated using his re-roll, but it was unlikely. So that killed him, and then from there we think Mephiston would probably cast some psychic powers. The fact he's got 2 powers that can deal D3 mortal wounds, kind of, so he can really rip apart tough targets and then assault them in combat. So we're calling the game at that point. So Mark, what do you think of 8th edition?
Love 8th edition. 8th edition is a great edition.
God, that was so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, we were learning the game.
Didn't have a rule books.
Didn't have rule books, so we were having to flick through the thing, and we've only been playing 2 hours. And okay, we're only at the end of turn 3, but the 4 and 5 would have taken very little time. If we had another half hour, we'd have easily done it in that.
And we wasn't playing fast and loose.
No, that's it.
That was.
And we were looking stuff up on the tablet. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
The worst possible way to look something up.
yeah, and we've never used it before, and that's the amount of time. It was so fast.
Loved it. Loved the edition. Interesting. The deployment's really quite tricky, especially when you're playing a normal objectives phase.
Yeah,
I think I actually prefer the way they do it with normal objectives now, because it creates a really interesting choice between going first and getting Alpha Strike and playing objectives seconds and stuff.
and I think I think it will encourage what they do in Infinity. I play Infinity as well. In Infinity, you're encouraged to set up the table so it's not symmetrical, so that there is a choice between which side to take. Whereas, say, in a lot of 40k tournaments, and often in tables we design, this one here, for instance, your table is more or less symmetrical, however you look at it. I've got kind of like hill there, wood there, and stuff. But Infinity, you're encouraged to set up so it's not symmetrical, so there's a real choice, and I think that might come in 40k as well. But overall, it was just the survivability of the vehicles. My 2 Predators are all stars.
The Razorback, man.
Yeah, the Razorback is just absurd. The fact that even really good anti-tank weapons generally only have a -3 save means you're getting a save on your 6-up armour from most of your vehicles and your power armour. So even if it's 1/6 of the shots off, that's still contributing quite a lot.
And being able to deal extra wounds as well. Multiple damaging wounds is powerful.
Yeah. The fact that we only move once a turn.
Yep.
I'm not moving and then D6 running. I'm moving and running at the same time if I want. There's no move in and then I'll move again in the assault phase.
You don't spend hours checking consolidation.
Yeah.
You don't spend hours checking for wig.
Yeah, you'll notice I haven't
Flamers.
spaced my Marines out of here because you don't need to. The whole thing just so much quicker and simpler, but it's not... There are still a load of complex decisions to make. The assault phase, I love the assault phase. The having to choose which units to assault in the order in.
The point is really, really tactical.
Oh.
We both went for the philosophy of burn them early, I think.
Yeah.
Because I only had 1 left, and it was just if the roll was a better chance, I think I would have gone for it.
Yeah.
It's just so unlikely.
It's I think the skill in the command points is figuring out when is a really pivotal roll. When you think I have to roll that.
Yeah.
And yeah, really enjoying the command points. Can't wait to see what extra uses they give them. But yeah, overall, big thumbs up from me, from Mark. Big thumbs up over there.
Ooh.
We'll be putting a lot more 8th edition videos up, I hope. It takes a lot less time to play, so that'll be helpful. Thanks for watching, everyone. Post below your thoughts on 8th edition, what you like, what you dislike, and I'll see you next time.